Alright, this is just a little introduction to let you know if what we learn in this video is for you. I'm calling this Advanced Microsoft Word. We're going to be targeting 10 skills that are super useful in document creation and also show off the fact that you know some of the less publicized, harder to use, more powerful functions in a pretty common program that's pretty commonly underutilized. So, we're going to do a project preview. We're going to see how everything started. We're going to look at the plan, and then we'll get straight to the project. So, the preview, I'm going to tab over to our document here. This is what we're making. So, I'm not a graphic designer. Yours might be more beautiful than this, but this is extremely functional. We have a cover page. We have all of our images with alt text. We have a self-updating table of contents. We have styles, which give us uniform headers and indexing. We've got quick parts to enable fast additions. We have cross-referencing and indexing. We even have some changes in layout. We have some landscape pages in the middle of a portrait document. That's going to knock people's socks off. And we even have an auto-updating index. And if we go back up to, for instance, this recipe, we can actually follow the links through to wherever they are in the document. So this is highly usable in print because the page numbers are auto-updated, and also highly usable in digital because the page numbers are links. So this is our goal for today, and let's find out how we do it. All right, so how did this start? This started because I needed a portfolio project for a job application. They wanted a Microsoft Office expert. I've spent a lot of time in Microsoft Office. I didn't have any artifacts to prove that. I thought about making something in Excel, but there are people who are way more impressive in Excel than I am. I can use it, but I can't impress people with it. However, there are a lot of utilities in Microsoft Word that are highly useful, and no one uses them, or the people who do use them get tripped up a lot because they don't know how they actually work. Related to this, I actually need these skills because I'm working on a doctoral dissertation. And the formatting of the doctorate is one of the things that has tripped up more of my colleagues than almost anything else, like the tearful midnight panic attacks, because the table of contents is broken and even the editor they hired doesn't know how to fix it. It's unreal. So I'm trying to avoid that for myself and get the formatting right on the first try and save myself hours of weeping. And additionally, I make a lot of documents. I make things for work. I make things to share. I'd like to step up the quality of the documents that I create. So I decided I wanted to do this, and then I had to make a plan. And so I sat down and I thought, well, there's a million utilities here, and I could make almost anything. But what can I target in a short time span that would show off the fact that I can actually learn to use a software at a high level? So I went to Claude and I said, what skills are in demand in Microsoft Word? And I got a list. List looked pretty good, but I trust AI about as far as I can throw it on factual matters. So I took that list and I went to Google and I said, Google, show me some recruiters or hiring employers and show me what they're looking for. So I went to Google and I said, is Claude telling the truth about these priorities? And sure enough, when I looked at several recruiting websites, several like LinkedIn articles, fairly authoritative stuff, most of the skills overlapped with the list that I had gotten. And then I sat back and I looked at this list and I thought, does this even make sense to my human brain? Like, do these look like skills that are actually useful and that I haven't seen every single person use in Microsoft Word? And honestly, the original list passed all of these checks, so I went forward with it. So these are the 10 skills that I ended up having in my little focus, which is styling, document properties, tables of contents, templates, complex tables, section breaks, change tracking, quick parts, cross-referencing, and indexing. So I need to use these 10 skills, but one of the biggest time sinks on a project like this is deciding what to build and how to use all of these. And this is the kind of thing I really like to outsource because I can get a lot of ideas quickly and kind of weed through until I get a good idea of my own or I hit on some gold. So I went to Claude and I said, using these 10 skills, what kind of document can I build? And Claude said, oh, you should write a standard operating procedure manual for the company you're applying to. And I said, if I knew how to write their standard operating procedure manual, I would already own the company. I would not be applying for an entry-level position. So then Claude said, well, I know that you've been doing some medical stuff with family members. Why don't you go ahead and write a medical decision-making guide? And I said to Claude, I am not a doctor and I'm not telling people how to do anything medical. And then Claude said, I don't know, maybe a recipe book? And I said, okay, let's do a recipe book. So let's look at what our outline is for the project. These are the phases. I told Claude that I had 2 hours to learn this, and it ended up being just about 2 hours. So this time estimate was more accurate than I expected it to be. So we're starting out with document setup, setting up the styles. We build in the table of contents, start doing the sections and bookmarking for the different parts of the document, adding more content, creating quick parts, adding in some differently styled sections, then going through and making sure like we've got a good index, running over how to track changes and track edits, and then also some accessibility. So the tracking changes is a skill, not an artifact, but I do treat with it briefly in the video, and I decided to pass up mail merge because I think we're going to be doing a much more robust mail merge portfolio item later on. I think that's probably going to be a large section of its own video. So what I have to say is you can just go download the plan. That was the overview. Let's go back. This is the overview. I have I don't know, I think it's like 10 or 20 pages of step-by-step guidance that I worked to get fine-tuned from Claude to walk through each of these steps without wasting any time and without skipping anything that might be important later. So you can look at this, you can watch the video. Please just go download the guide. It's free, it's on my website. It gives you every little detail, and it's just going to make it so much easier when you go to do this yourself to have that touch point. At one point, one of my dogs had a crisis and I had to get up, and when I came back, I knew I was at task 3.4, and I was just able to go ahead and dive right back into it. So the link's in the description. Just go get the free guide. It's got all of the step-by-step guidance that you need. It's got the checklist. It's got the overview. Just go grab it. And with that, we're going to get started.